Today we're asking the question, is mulberry leaf tea a natural and healthier alternative to the skinny jab, to the GLP-1 semaglutide or liraglutide jab? I'll explain how both work in the body, their differences, and also go into the wider implications of using both in your weight loss routine. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate and I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. Today I really wanted to dive into this because there's so much news out there about the weight loss jab. There are a lot of influencers selling the weight loss jab, and there's also a large lawsuit currently gaining momentum about the side effects of using Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, whichever one you might be taking or might be thinking about taking. And just to make you more aware of the potential dangers of using these drugs, because so many people are using them, and also the cases where technically they might be able to help you lose weight sustainably. Now, mulberry leaf tea is a natural extract. It is a tea leaf that you can take, and it actually has a different effect on belly fat, on weight loss than the weight loss drugs. The reason you might want to consider taking mulberry leaf tea is if you are within a fairly healthy range of weight, but you've got the belly fat. You know, as we go through menopause, as estrogen falls, sex hormones fall, what tends to happen is our cortisol levels rise and we become more insulin resistant. Insulin resistance, increased cortisol over a long period of time, does contribute to weight gain around the middle. We tend to become a bit more insulin resistant as we get older. We tend to have higher cortisol levels as we go through menopause, because what happens is as our ovaries go into retirement, the adrenal glands do the backup job of the ovaries. It means we have a little bit more cortisol and adrenaline surging around our bodies than we would otherwise do. So stress management is really key to when you are struggling with weight gain, in midlife and beyond. However, if you are chronically stressed, if you're going through a really stressful period, just know that if you're noticing belly fat creeping up, that once things smooth out for you again, then it's highly likely that weight gain is going to go back down again. It's not something that you have to live with forever. But if you are under a period of stress right now, as I am, I have a little bit of extra belly fat than I would ideally like. If I'm worrying about it, if I'm getting stressed about it, it's just going to increase my stress levels even more. So I'm kind of learning how to love it as part of me, and it's not causing me any health problems. But when you've got a lot of weight, excess weight around your body, that is inflammatory, and belly fat specifically is more inflammatory than your other sort of adipose fat, so your fat generally around your body. You don't want to be fat really at all. You don't want to be skinny either at all. You want to be a lean, strong, healthy weight. However, it's without a shadow of a doubt that as you go through menopause and beyond, it is much more difficult to maintain a healthy weight. So the reason you might want to take mulberry leaf tea is because it helps dampen down the blood sugar response after you've had a meal that's quite carb heavy. Now, I was drinking it, I actually really like it, and I was drinking a little bit more of it than I should have been doing, I think. I don't eat a lot of carbs anyway, and if the carbs that I do eat, they tend to be pretty healthy carbs. Yes, fruit and vegetables fall within the carb banner. I'm talking about sort of starchy carbs, so, the bread, the pasta, the rice, that sort of thing. I tend not to eat that many of those, and the ones that I do eat, I've always, they're pretty healthy starchy carbs. And I found that my blood sugars were just dipping too far, and I was feeling quite wretched. I was a bit jittery and just felt really So I completely backed off the mulberry leaf tea just to see, did I feel better again? And I did. That's why I always say, if you're going to try something, don't try lots of different things combined. Try one thing, because then you know whether that is having a reaction to you, or you're reacting to it or not. So now I just have a much smaller portion. So I'm literally probably a quarter of a teaspoon of mulberry leaf tea leaves, and I might have it around a carb heavy meal. So if I'm eating a meal with pasta, which is rare to be quite honest, as I go through the day, you don't need so many starchy carbs as you go through the process of the day. So towards The evening meal, generally I would eat protein, as in meat or fish, or maybe tofu, lentils, something like that. But then I would also have lots of vegetables with it, and not so, very rarely would I eat pasta or rice or indeed potatoes, as much as I love them, because we just don't need them as we go through the day. Starchy carbs really are for our energy, and we don't need energy just before we go to bed or, at the end of the day. But for the times when, occasionally you do, or you're at a party, or whatever it might be, however you eat, you might find that having mulberry leaf tea before or during your meal is going to help with that insulin response. It is highly likely to do. I would also say just be cautious that if you are taking diabetes 2 drugs, it might actually make you hypoglycemic. So just be really mindful of that. So start light with your mulberry leaf tea. For me, I just thought, wow, this is so much more powerful than I ever thought it would be. So just be cautious of that. I really want you to understand that it's not going to help you burn fat directly, but because it helps to blunt the insulin response after you've eaten your meal and, thereafter for a few hours, it could help reduce the amount of belly fat that you're getting. In studies, the post-meal blood sugar was decreased by 40%. I mean, that is huge. And the reason mulberry leaf tea is so effective is because mulberry leaves contain a few star compounds. One is 1-DNJ, deoxynitromycin. That's a natural blocker of enzymes in your small intestine that break carbs down into sugar. It also contains flavonoids and polyphenols. These are plant antioxidants which can support insulin signaling inside of muscle and help to the mitochondria in your cells to use fuel more efficiently. And polysaccharides, which are fiber that are highly likely to support a healthier gut environment. And that feeds back into better glucose control. So it's quite powerful. Give it a try. It's a bit like drinking hay flavored water. It has a really mild taste. If you like chamomile tea, I think you'll love it. I really enjoy it, but I have to control the amount I drink because, like I say, it can make you feel very low blood sugary if you're not careful. GLP-1 drugs affect how hungry you feel. They are synthetic versions made in a lab of a hormone that your gut produces while you're eating. They lower appetite, they slow stomach emptying, they increase insulin when glucose is present, and they also decrease glucagon, which otherwise tells your liver to release sugar. The net effect is that you eat less, feel fuller for longer, and your blood sugar rises less after meals. So GLP-1s act hormonally and system-wide. Your brain, stomach, your pancreas, your liver, and mulberry leaf extract works inside the gut. Also, you're not going to have the rapid weight loss that you would experience with a GLP-1 if you're taking mulberry leaf tea extract. I just want you to understand that. But because there's quite a lot of spoken about mulberry leaf tea at the moment, and I'm talking about it a lot, I was really surprised at how powerful it is. But you might think, oh, well, could I use that instead of a GLP-1? Listen, if you're taking a GLP-1, I really want to dive into this because I've dropped loads of links beneath this. There's a couple of video links, which are Channel 4 documentaries, are very, very interesting. I've tried to be really unbiased about my opinions around the GLP-1 drugs. For somebody who has got diabetes 2, they can be a really effective treatment in helping you become more familiar with your hunger hormones and to help get on top of emotional eating. Also, obviously, to lose excess weight, which is then going to have health benefits. However, coming from the fitness wellness profession, we look at around about healthy weight loss as around about £2 a week. On GLP-1s, people are losing £9 plus a week. So where did that suddenly become healthy? That cannot be healthy. And there's a lot of evidence showing that when you're losing weight using the GLP-1s, it's not just fat that you're losing, it's muscle mass, it's bone mass. So when you're losing muscle mass, when you stop taking GLP-1s, because you're not supposed to be on them for more than 2 years, as per the UK health guidelines, it has a near 100% failure rate when you go back to normal living without your GLP-1s, because people are seeing it as a quick fix and they're not taking the necessary steps to incorporate the lifestyle habits. So the strength training. So going back to losing your muscle mass, when you lose your muscle mass, your metabolism slows down. Also, when you stop eating as much, your metabolism slows down. So what happens is when you then start to eat normally again, you've got fewer muscles, which burn up fewer calories. Your metabolism's going much more slowly. So then the food that then you start to consume has an even greater impact on weight gain, because you have no longer got that muscle mass, you've no longer got that fired up metabolism. So you do need to combine it with strength training. You do need to combine it with eating sufficient protein, but that is often not enough. Now, I've also, while I've been doing my research, because I really wanted to be as unbiased as I can, I have quite strong opinions about the GLP-1 drugs. And there's a lot of influencers out there, and there's a huge black market out there now where it's completely unregulated. People who have not got a BMI of 30 plus, which is what you should have in order to be prescribed these GLP-1 drugs. They're getting them and they're using them for losing the odd £5 before they go on holiday. People are going, oh, it helps reduce inflammation. These people are not overweight. They are not obese. They are using it, they're kidding themselves that they're using it for some health benefit. It is having significant, very serious side effects, like going blind, like pancreatitis, like liver problems, like stomach blockage, like stomach not being able to empty itself naturally any longer. So please, if you're thinking about taking one of these drugs, or you've just recently started, it's quite common for you to feel nauseous, to have vomiting, to have constipation and or diarrhea. Take a look at the videos, and then if you really want to dive into it, go into the research links that I've added beneath this as well. Because I think there are so many influencers out there on TikTok. It's huge right now. And they're all, they're looking beautiful. They've all got their filters, their false eyelashes, their beautiful nails. But it's very easy to get caught in that trap of thinking, oh, well, he's taking it and he's lost all this weight. She's taking it and she didn't need much weight to lose, but she looks amazing. She's saying she's great. She feels amazing. And then she's saying, well, if you want to get some of this, click the link in my bio, or TikTok's banned me from showing this. So just send me a private message and I'll let you know where I get it from. When you look at the videos, if you take time to watch the 2 videos that I link beneath this, these Channel 4 documentaries, they go undercover and they show how easy it is for somebody who does not meet the requirements to lie about their BMI, lie about this, that, and the other, and they get sent drugs. Now, the drugs that are being sent, they were then analysed by a lab at Oxford University, didn't even have Ozempic in it. They can't even identify one of the drugs that's in it. The needles that come with it are a lot longer than the tiny needles that you get, if you have the bona fide stuff. So just be really mindful that the stuff that you're paying a lot for privately may not even have the drug in it that you think you're expecting to get. One of the undercover agents, she went out to 3 private healthcare clinics in London. I think they were all on Harley Street. And all 3 of them, they could see she did not have a BMI of over 30. All 3 of them said, yes, you can have your Ozempic, or whichever one they were prescribing or giving. You have to have it prescribed to have it done safely. It has opened up this huge arena of people making money off it, people being deceptive, the end user having massive and very significant health issues as a result of it, and a few people that are benefiting from it a lot. So it's helping them lose weight very quickly, which I do think is concerning. But if they're then using that weight loss to think, right, I haven't got that massive joint pain now, so now I know I should have started strength training years ago, now I'm going to start strength training. Now, because I'm not eating so much rubbish or food, I'm actually going to think, okay, I'm going to really focus on the nutrition that I need to eat and really tidy up my food. When you go through some of the comments underneath these videos, there was one woman who goes, well, I find it really helpful because sometimes I really like to get my McDonald's breakfast drive-through, but I don't really even want that anymore. There is such a lack of education around food. If you're feeling consistently hungry during the day, it's highly likely because you're not eating nutritious food. If you can get off the ultra processed foods, get off the sugars, those cause absolute havoc with your gut health, with your energy levels, with your blood sugars, but they also are not nutritious. They're not filling you up. So even though you might eat a massive meal of rubbish, within a short period of time, you're going to be hungry again. Partly because your hormones are all askew because of all the rubbish that you've just eaten, and that food is designed to be addictive. But you still have to make the choice whether you eat it or not. If you replace that food with healthy food, so the right kinds of starchy carbs, the vegetables, the lean protein, healthy fats, that will keep you full. And we are designed to get hungry. There is nothing wrong with being hungry in between your meals. The problem with these weight loss drugs is that you're losing weight so fast that I mean, like you say, 2 pounds a week is a healthy weight loss. More than that, it has serious implications. Plus, for people with eating disorders, they're able to get, on the skinny end of the eating disorders, they're able to get these black market unregulated drugs because of their body dysmorphia. So there is a massive problem out there with these weight loss drugs. And the fact that there are so many people, influencers out there saying how great they are, it's very easy to be lulled into that false sense of security that, oh, it's working for them. Oh, it's working for her. And oh my God, and him and her and them and them and them and them and them. Because they're all out there talking about these things. And some of them, they just talk about their personal experience with it. A lot of them are now brand ambassadors for these companies that are selling these weight loss drugs and actually recommending that, oh, send me a message and I'll help you work out how much, you should be taking. They have no medical background. How on earth can they do that? So please have caution around it. There is a massive lawsuit currently gaining so much momentum saying that these companies have not been open enough about the side effects. And over $2 billion in claims so far, and that is just the beginning of it. There are more and more people reporting that they've had these serious side effects. And the problem is with a lot of these situations, because it's been so unregulated, obviously the drug companies are now saying, well, because you've got diabetes too, or because you're already overweight, maybe the issues that you've got are a result of the situation you were in before you actually started taking these drugs. So it has to be regulated. Make sure that you are going through the right channels if you are needing these GLP-1 drugs. Plus, right now, there is a complete shortage of the GLP-1 drugs for those who really need it. So those people with diabetes too, for whom GLP-1 drugs can work very, very effectively, some of them cannot get these drugs now because of the private market and also the black market that are sourcing these drugs. So it's having a massive impact on people who really do need them. I also just want to add this, and this is going to be a little bit contentious and probably quite polarizing. I know people who are morbidly obese. I have never seen them with a healthy shopping trolley. There does require education in understanding what is healthy food and what is not healthy food. However, I think we all know that the pizzas, the cakes, the cookies, the croissants, the sugary drinks, they are not healthy. The cream, that's going to make you fat. We also know that the fruit, the vegetables, the lean healthy fish, the lean healthy meat, or the plant-based proteins are healthy foods. So we choose what we put in our trolleys. And when you're gaining weight consistently, you do run the risk of becoming pre-diabetic and then developing diabetes too. It has to be a multi-pronged approach to this. It has to involve nutritionists, it has to involve the doctor, it has to involve the clinicians, it has to involve the prescription and the bloods being taken before you're given this. Because even if you're diabetic too, what happens if you have underlying issues that might preclude you from being able to have these GLP-1 drugs? Every drug that you take has a side effect, and this is showing that this has really significant side effects. in certain individuals. There also has to be a willingness on the individual to make those lifestyle changes so that you then don't put all the weight back on again and more afterwards if you do take these GLP-1 drugs. You have to commit to doing the strength training. You have to commit to eating healthier. And the daft thing is, on the back of these boxes, they always say, make sure you're following a healthy lifestyle. If people were following a healthy lifestyle in the first place, they would probably not be needing the GLP-1s. We all have to have a sense of self-agency around this. We all have to take responsibility for ourselves. It is no good saying, yeah, but I just love my packets of crisps. I love my packets of biscuits. You might love your packets of crisps. You might love your packets of biscuits. But there has to be some control at your end as well, knowing that eating the entire packet of biscuits every day or whatever it might be is contributing to the weight gain. And I promise you that once you get through maybe 1 or 2 weeks of your body adjusting to healthier foods, it'll make such a profound difference to how you feel. And eventually you won't want those cravey foods. And what I always suggest to people is, rather than thinking you can't have the packet of biscuits, is just eat nutritious stuff too. So start adding more stuff into your, what you eat every day. And you'll find that when you're eating more of the healthy stuff, the higher fiber stuff, the foods that have got the higher levels of protein, the healthier fats, you're not going to have the hunger that's going to make you think, oh, I could really need a biscuit because I'm starving hungry. And so with time, and education and consistency and a sense of responsibility, you're going to not eat as many biscuits or whatever it might be that, is your thing. It's like the coffee shops. The amount of people that are overweight and they're going for all the cream and they're going for all the chocolatey things on top and those sweet things, those fluffy sweet things they stick on top of them. That is contributing to you being fat. And I know that's harsh, but it is true. And so many of us pussyfoot around this situation. There is so much more control than you think you have. And I think the GLP-1s, just going back to that right now, is it might be something that would help you if you then also commit to making the lifestyle changes. If you're not willing to commit to the lifestyle changes, you're probably just putting yourself at even more risk of developing even worse side effects, because you're probably going to have to come off them at some point. And I'm not suggesting you go on them and stay on them for life. I think that's even more dangerous. But just do your due diligence, do your research, and just because all your other mates are swearing by this weight loss drug and they're losing weight fast, I wonder what the long-term outlook for them is. And I would really encourage you to question that as well. It's really easy to jump onto these quick fixes and think, oh, no, it's going to be fine. I will be fine. What if you're not? What if you're one of those that loses their sight? What if you're the one that's in the intensive care unit with pancreatitis? What if you're the one with the gallbladder stones? What if you're the one that takes it for a couple of years, loses loads of weight, and then starts eating normally, and you've not made any changes, and you put even more weight back on? Look at it realistically, and if you're going to use it, make sure, or if you can get prescription for it, make sure that you're using it wisely and that you're taking the steps to get your life healthy. I also know people who take the diabetes 2 drugs, and they have absolutely no intention of losing weight or getting rid of the excess fat. They take the drugs so that they can go and eat all the stuff. There has to be that, I don't know, sense of self-agency, but I think also we really need to put it on the individual that with healthcare and support, they can make these changes they need to make. Because so many people are not even willing to make the changes. I know a lot of those people, and I'm sure you do. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. If you've got friends, family who are taking the GLP-1s, if you're thinking about taking them or you already do, I do highly recommend watch at least one of those videos that I've linked below. I think it's quite unbiased, I think. It does err a little more towards the fact, the scary sides of it. But they do start off quite balanced. When I first started to watch them, I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe wow. I didn't expect them to be taking, having that approach. And I think it's good that they do, because it's both sides of the story, or both sides of the fence. So just be mindful that extremely fast weight loss can come with its own bite in the bum. You will lose muscle mass and bone mass, which will also mean that your metabolism slows down. You might have the nausea, the vomiting, the diarrhea, the constipation, and the extreme fatigue and headaches if you take these GLP-1s, which are the more minor side effects, and a lot of people seem to have them. And it can have much more significant side effects if you take the GLP-1s, as well as having a near 100% failure rate, because most people do not make the lifestyle changes they're supposed to make. However, if you're one of the few who are willing to make those changes, it could be something that would be very beneficial for you to take short term. If your goal is to support healthy mid-section weight loss, and you're looking to help blunt the carb spikes through carb-heavy meals, then mulberry leaf tea extract, mulberry leaf tea leaves might be something that you want to take a look at. But just be cautious, because it can really make your blood sugars dip. And just beware, the influencers out there, they are selling. They are not medical experts representing your best interests. They are representing their own financial bottom lines. And I think that's a really important thing to take into consideration. So I don't want to be the bearer of doom and gloom, but I do think it's really important that we educate ourselves about both sides of the fence, benefits, pros, cons, side effects, and the serious side effects. So take a look at the links below. And I'd be really interested to hear whether you take GLP-1s, if it's something that you found really beneficial, if, how you've managed to overcome your fat loss consistently. And also, I would love to hear some positive stories around it too, that people have had, a great experience taking the GLP-1s, and have also taken the opportunity to really make those lifestyle changes to support good health going forward. And if you get the mulberry leaf tea extract, or if you already take mulberry leaf tea leaves, I'll be really interested to hear what your thoughts on that are as well. Has it given you the jitters? I mean, green tea also gives me the jitters, so I think I have a slight sensitivity to it. But I know by backing off it, and also taking a much smaller amount, and also just drinking it around a carb heavy, albeit healthy carb meal, I've managed to stop that vile feeling of hypoglycemia. So I think getting rid of the midline expanding belly would be something that so many of us would enjoy to benefit from. And mulberry leaf tea, I think, is one of those things that we can add to our toolbox of the other things like strength training, eating lean protein, lots of vegetables, support your gut health, try and reduce your stress, and drink plenty of water, and also focus on decent sleep. I think the mulberry leaf tea also might improve your sleep. I've noticed recently my sleep's gone really, really good. And it might be related to the mulberry leaf tea, although I don't drink it every day at night, because, like I say, it's rare that I eat the starchy carbs towards the end of the day. But my sleep has been amazing recently, and so possibly that's down to better blood sugar regulation too. Not sure. Be interested to hear if you take it. Does it improve your sleep as well? So thank you for your company. I hope it's been helpful. I hope I haven't come across as too fisticuffsy today, but I do really believe that we all have to have responsibility for ourselves, and it's very easy to blame others, and blame this and blame that for our current situation. But there is no doubt about it that the vast majority of us could do a lot more, make a lot more effort to living a healthier life. And just beware that processed foods, ultra processed foods, are designed by people in labs to make them addictive. So just be aware of that. Crowd out the bad with the good, and within no time you'll be starting to feel a lot healthier. Thank you for your company, and I'll look forward to chatting with you next week.